Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. I'm James Welch, your host for today's show. We are connecting musicians and audiences in real-time performances and music news from around the globe. Welcome to our Musicians Around the Globe series. We are streaming live on all major platforms. If you're watching on one of our socials, feel free to leave a comment or a question, and one of our tech wizards will put them up on the screen to read, and we can answer them. So, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all the above, even Twitch. So, check us out there. Don't be shy. Leave a comment, leave a question, and we will make some time to answer it. Today's program is extra special because with us today, we have the fabulously talented pianist and composer, the one and only James Adler. James Adler is a pianist, according to the Chicago Sun-Times. He can create whatever type of music he wants at the keyboard. And according to Atlanta Journal-Constitution, composer who writes with uncommon imagination. His Curtis Institute of Music commissioned a new work for Mr. Adler as part of their Centenary Commissioning Initiative 100 x 100. He presented the world premiere of A Curtis Reflection for piano solo in recital at the Yamaha Artists Series studio in New York this past November for a broadcast at Curtis during their Centenary Celebrations in 2024. In April, he appears in recital on the Salon Concerts at the Klavierhaus, a series, and also performs on the Arts and Bergen midday concert series at St. Peter's University. His Suite Moderne for strings will be featured at Virtual Concert Halls and Progressive Musicians Gala at Carnegie Hall on April 4th. And you don't want to miss that. It's going to be great. Let's see here. We have, he's done so much here. In 2023, the Global Music Awards selected Mr. Adler as a silver medal winner for outstanding achievement in the composer category for his album, That Star in the Picture. The album also landed on the 2023 Top 20 Classical Recording lists of Textura. Luciano Feliciani calls this a disc of great value to be savored slowly, while Judith Kurlman notes that James Adler writes beautiful melodies. The exquisite, lovely collection of lighter songs features performances by cabaret artists Shayna Farr and Michael Buchanan, Broadway performer Kennedy Kanagawa, Paris Souk, and Elizaveta Olkovich, and Metropolitan mezzo-soprano Victoria Livengood in a new chamber version of Pia Jesu from Memento Mori and AIDS Requiem. And there's so much that this man has done and accomplished. We could go on for a year and not even hit the tip of the iceberg. But I think he's just an inspiration, and we have him here today. And let's bring him in here. James, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you so much. Doing great, and it's absolutely my pleasure to be here with you, James.
Well, it's our pleasure to have you here today, and you've just been done so much, for our events, and for just your career has exploded into this mammoth amount of recognition. It's just truly inspirational, and my congratulations to you on that.
Many thanks, James. As I tell my students, my favorite line these days is to say, be careful what you wish for, you may get it.
That's
absolutely true.
We often hear that the other way around, or at least in the negative, and it's great to hear that in the positive, because that is solely true and very uplifting, and thank you for that. We just saw a clip of you performing a few minutes ago. What were you playing?
I was playing, this was one of my recitals at the Yamaha Artist. It used to be called the Yamaha Artist Services Piano Salon, but as Director Bonnie Barrett has referred to this now, it's much more than a salon. Uh, it really is a studio and multi-purpose, but it was a live concert from there, and the piece is called Prelude and Toccata, and it's part of a collection that was published by Plymouth Music originally, now called Voce, of my 3 piano transitions. And that's one of my first forays into learning about things publishing.
Wonderful. So we just heard the prelude. Oh,
Yes, I was
oh
going to. Yeah,
we have the music.
I don't have the music in front of me. It's in the other room. But the first thing is Bernie Fisher at Plymouth was always thinking of catchy titles, and I learned it back then, 30 years ago. It's the number 3 piano transitions, and I said, "You don't want THREE?" He says, "No, put the goods in the window." And sure enough, we learned about the music business.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
I
And
learned about the music side of the music business. And one of the things I'm very proud of that it's probably buried on the bottom of my bio, but this past December I was elected into membership. I'm delighted it was a unanimous vote. I'm now a member of the Music Publishers Association of the United States. So Adler Oaks Music is part of that organization now.
oh my goodness.
So
Wow. That's amazing.
now I'm thinking as publisher, like, how do you make things stand out and how do you market them? And the
Wow.
things that I learned way back 30, 40 years ago.
Wow. That's congratulations. Yeah. And
Thank
I
you.
do see that here in your bio, and oh, it just went by on the ticker, which will keep running there. Um, yeah. That's an extraordinary accomplishment. Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's great. Well, I mean, you've composed quite a bit, and you have many albums out there, and many works. And I'd just like to take a look at your website here for a minute and just show everybody what we have. If we could have that up. Here's the AdlerOaksMusic.com, and here's the homepage, and right here, CDs and downloads. Is that it? Yeah. Look at this here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 albums. Wow. All with your music?
Actually, yes, but those are my solo albums. I'm also on albums of several friends, so it's closer to 10, 11. It's about to be my 11th album.
Wow.
I'm now working on a new project for Albany Records that hopefully will be out in early summer.
Wow. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Now, which one of these? I gotta ask. Which one here was your first?
The first one is Memento Mori, Aeneid's Requiem.
Right here. Okay. Wonderful. And all these feature works that you've written, and it's
Yes.
great. Which is there anything you'd like to say about any of them? And like any cool facts or any
Some
anything?
fun things. People, by the way, have asked me in past, and this anybody who's a parent listening in will understand this. They would say, James, which one is your favorite? And I have to say all of them because they're all my children, each and every one. But
Hmm.
I'm extremely proud of the most recent CD release called That Star in the Picture. And That Star in the Picture, released also Albany Records, is a recording of my theater music and art songs. And it's not an accident that it is in fact dedicated to Stephen Sondheim. I am privileged to say that I'm one of those people, many people that Steve mentored. I met him right after Sweeney Todd opened. He invited me to New York. And I joked with him. I said, "Oh, it's going to be on one of my long days coming up from Curtis from Philadelphia." So he wrote back. No, he picked up the phone and called me. And he said, "James, this is Steve." He said, "So come up on one of your long days."
Um,
And then I found out Stephen Sondheim's schedule, and his days were even longer.
I can't imagine. I mean, you don't You don't get to where people like you and Stephen Sondheim are without having a few long days here and there, or many of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
it,
exactly. But he promised any project of which I was proud, for which I was proud, send it to him and he will review and write back to me. And he did for each and every one of them.
oh, wow.
Every one of them.
Oh, how wonderful.
This album is bittersweet because it's my theater music and a piece that I'd written for Marnie Nixon back in the 80s, uh, way back when. Marnie is no longer with us, of course. You know her as the voice behind, I think, Audrey Hepburn for My Fair Lady, Natalie Wood in West Side Story. She sang for many, many famous people. She was behind the scenes. But Marnie had a gorgeous voice and was a top teacher and high C's. Anyway,
Nice.
that star in the picture needed to be on this album, and a good friend, K.T. Sullivan, famous cabaret artist, said, James, I have the perfect person for you for this, and that is Shana Farr, who was a very well-known cabaret artist, and Shana is an absolute darling person to work with, and that's the name of the album, that star in the picture.
Oh,
So
wow.
I invite people to listen to that. Victoria Livengood, this is very special to me. Victoria Livengood recorded with us for the original recording of Memento Mori and AIDS Requiem back in 2000 and released 2001. And Miss Vicky, as I dubbed her, she'll tell you that. Now everybody calls her Miss Vicky. She was so stunning and brought a warmth and a mother earthly quality to it that when I approached the president of Albany Records, Susan Bush, I asked Susan if we might consider my doing a new short, small, intimate chamber version of this. She said, why don't you ask Miss Vicky? And lo and behold, we made arrangements, and Victoria Livengood is on the album, and she sang gorgeously My Pia Jesu in a new setting for just a few chamber instruments, so it fit the album concept. So 2001 and then 2022, recorded early 23. She came in January 23, and the album was out that summer.
Wow.
So that's very
No,
special.
and I've heard that recording. It's just wonderful. I mean, it's high up on my Spotify playlist right now,
Thank
and
you so
you know
much.
it gets played often. Wonderful. Everyone should check it out.
Thank you.
One and you've had so many works premiered so many places, and you're gonna have your Suite Moderne. Is that Moderne? My French
Suite,
isn't good.
Suite Moderne for strings, yes.
Suite Moderne for Strings is going to
You're
be
absolutely
premiered on our gala April 4th at Carnegie Hall. And if you want to get tickets for that, you could just go to the Carnegie website, and we can show that on the screen here.
correct.
If you go to the Carnegie Hall website, it's a little tricky to find, but I'll show you. Look, the calendar right here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not loading. No. Oh, no.
Well, because you're on, but if you load the calendar and go
There
to
we go.
it's there, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So,
So keep going,
yeah, and we go to April.
right?
All right, there we go. April 4th, right there. Get tickets. It's going to be wonderful. On this program, hey, who's this guy right here? Yeah, and yeah, it's going to be just glorious. And we can, we have so many other people on this program. Let's see if I could bring that back up here for a second here. This is only a fraction of the people. We've updated the poster just today. But we even have our tech guy, Ante, will be playing on the program, and he's a glorious pianist, and we can't wait. But
Wonderful.
many wonderful concerto winners playing with the New York Chamber Players, and we also have the Bo Lightleys from Washington, D.C. It's a cello ensemble directed by John Kaboff, and we've had them maybe about a year and a half ago, and we're going to be welcoming back again, and it's just going to be a glorious concert of glorious music. I don't have any other great words to describe it here. But can you tell us a little bit about the Suite Moderne?
Suite Moderne was written, I'm looking at the music right now, copyright 1982, and It was after I had graduated Curtis Institute as first pianist and then master of composition. And I heard the Concerto Soloists of Philadelphia. That's Mark Mostovoy's organization. And I had Mark in mind for this. And I wanted to do something jazzy. I'm an American composer pianist. I would be expected to be able to do this. And it's coming off in the heels of a number of projects I did working with Scott Joplin's music. Let me tell you a funny story, if I may, just an aside.
Oh, please.
1973, that Saturday night in early May, I graduated Curtis Institute as a concert pianist. I got a phone call from my brother's father-in-law that night from Los Angeles, and he said, we have an interesting project. He said, Jimmy, his family calls me. He said, would you be interested? I said, I'm interested. What do you have in mind? He said, the Camerata Players of Los Angeles are going to be mounting a production of Scott Joplin's opera. I leaned forward on the phone. I said, are you talking about Tremonisha? And he said, yes. I said, count me in. He said, can you orchestrate it for us? I said, sure I can. He said, you know how to orchestrate? Sure I can. Well, I had a couple of lessons and some composition with Myron Fink. So I called Myron on the phone. I said, Myron, help. So as I tell my students as well, if you think you can do something and you can do the job, say yes if you know you can complete it. So I was coming to New York 2 to 3 times a week, orchestrating it and checking out different things and develop my sense of color and style. So my version, I'm one of, I think, the 4 composers and orchestrators out there who can say we successfully completed Tremonisha. But in my version, no offense to Gunther Schuller, I added a banjo, and when they had some chopped off reeds, when they were talking about they're out like in a swamp area, I asked the clarinetist and bass clarinetist, use chopped off reeds so you'd give me a wang, wang kind of a sound. So I put what sounded to be duck calls in that orchestration and banjo, and I had a lot of fun. So
Wow.
so I had an early indoctrination to Scott Joplin, and then the head of chapel music, Reynolds, Bob, came to me and he said, would you think of maybe arranging this for full orchestra? I said, sure. So that begat my classic ragtime suite, music themes of Scott Joplin, and that piece is Warner Chapel. It's now Alfred Music, and it's gone all over the world. So I've had an association with jazz, and Prelude and Toccata, getting back to that question, needed to have that. Needed to have a little bit of that jazzy inflection. So Suite Moderne picks up on that, your original question. My inspiration was to take, I'm very much a classicist with structure, take my training from Curtis and from my Chicago days and add some jazzy flavor to it. So it's what I refer to it as a jazzy take on the classic Baroque suite form.
Nice.
And Mark Mostovoy really liked it. He said, why don't you come and conduct it? I said, okay. Walnut Street Theater. I said, I'll do that. But here's the thing. Mark had very limited rehearsal time in the Union Orchestra, and he said, composers come in and they think they can get 5, 6 rehearsals. And I said, Mark, I can do this in 2 rehearsals and give me 20 to 30 minute sound check. He said, you're so confident you can do that? I said, yes, I'm a performer also. And I did it in 2 rehearsals,
Nice.
2 half rehearsals, and about a 20-minute segment. I kept my word.
Wonderful. Oh, people love that. And when it goes boom, boom, boom efficiently.
Absolutely.
I've always told my students in the past, if you can come in there and just do it very efficiently and great, you're going to keep getting called back
That's right.
and back. You just got to get that one foot in the door right away. And it sounds like that's what you did with like just your inherited roots and honest writing.
Well, thank you so much. And this has been recorded. Jason Fettig, who had been the Lieutenant Colonel Jason Fettig, was the director of the Marine Chamber Orchestra and the band. He recently stepped down. But Jason contacted me and he said, yes, he'd like to do the piece. Would Scott and I like to come to hear it performed live? Oh, yes. The Marine Chamber Orchestra, they're so good. They started rehearsing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday dress, I was too late to get there in time for the dress, but Saturday, they absolutely nailed it. And that is the live performance. It's very rare that Albany Records wants to take a live recording of anything.
Oh, yeah.
They took the live recording of that, which is the Suite Moderne for string. And when people ask me about tempi and details, use that as the gold standard, because I think Jason did an absolutely fantastic job with it. With his
How glorious when that happens in a live setting,
Yeah.
and you're in the room with everybody enjoying it all at the same time, and I can't imagine how great that felt.
It felt absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for
It's
asking about this.
Yeah, definitely. So we're looking forward to hearing that again on April 4th.
Thank
And
you.
Carnegie will be hearing parts of it. And we'll actually be streaming the rehearsals on this channel on April 2nd and 3rd. So
Okay.
if you're around, I believe we're on at 10 in the morning. I have to check on that. But, it'd be like late morning, early afternoon, and you can hear all of the soloists rehearsing. And, hopefully, the mistakes won't warrant some bad language. No, but we're gonna have a great time in New York, and you get to see the whole process of it. But you can only see the performance at Carnegie Hall because we don't have the rights to stream it. So you got to buy a ticket. You got to come and see it there live. But so you just go to the website, check that out, contact us, and we can get you in. Yeah. So now, how do you be a part of the gala? We're going to take just a little time out to
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit. James, you've done so many wonderful things, and we're so happy to have you as part of the gala. The gala is a concert that features a few guest artists like James. We have a flautist, Anastasia Squires, and soprano, Dominika Zimana, and from Poland, and they'll be performing with the New York Chamber Players. And we audition people to perform on that program with them. And how do you do that? Well, let's look at our website here. And you go to progressivemusicians.com or Sound Espressivo, but we're going to go to Progressive Musicians today and look Carnegie Hall auditions right here and perform at Carnegie. And here is all of the details. If you want to audition, our next deadline is May 1st, and you could perform solo. You composers can submit their works and even have their works played by the New York Chamber Players, or just in a regular recital style here. And we have all of our concerts up here for the next season that you could be a part of. And if you want to apply, you just click here, or for composers, you click there, and all of the information is here. And here's our sponsors, and our legendary host Steve Robinson, and here's James Adler again. Yeah, and you just see a array of. We have a lot of colors on this website. It's kind of fun. And if you go to the concerto page, I'm going to scroll up here and perform concerto at Carnegie, and scroll all the way down. It's a very similar page here, but we also have the New York Chamber Players and Orchestra Manhattan will be joining us this season. You can play a concerto with either one, or have your work performed and premiered by either one. And I'm going to go straight down to the bottom here. We're going to blur for a second just so that I can show you this. We have our story, and here are some videos that you could just click on. They're archival videos where you could just see a few clips of what happened at these glorious galas, and some of our rehearsal process in the YouTube videos, and just a lot going on with that. So just check us out and contact us if you have any questions, and we'll get you in for an audition. And so I think we have a promo video that we'd like to show that explains this a lot better than I can, and from our made by one of our other hosts, Chris Al. Let's show that right now.
Hey, check this out. I know you have always dreamed of performing in Carnegie Hall, so I think this 2023 to 2024 season at Sound Espressivo would be perfect for you. As a platform, we host live online auditions so you can share your music with the entire world. Then we send you to incredible in-person venues like Carnegie Hall so you can perform solo, as a duo, as an ensemble, and with orchestra. This year we have a total of 4 gala events at Carnegie Hall, as well as 4 different opportunities to perform with orchestras in the US, in the Czech Republic, and even in Egypt. We want to help you fulfill your musical dreams. Go to soundexpressivocompetition.com to check out our season and to apply.
And yeah, that was Chris Au, one of our other hosts, and he's also a glorious pianist. He played part of Beethoven's Fourth on our last gala, and he just gave an outstanding performance of it. Now, James, I have to ask, in your bio, it says that you were commissioned to write a new work for the Centenary Commissioning Initiative at
Yes.
Curtis. Can you tell us about that?
I can indeed. He's now the dean at the Curtis Institute of Music. Nick DiBerardino was in touch with me 2.5 years ago, along with a number of composers, and they said they wanted to select alumni, graduates who, so a select group of graduates, let's put it like that, to compose an original piece for the Centenary Celebration of the Curtis Institute of Music, and that would be, the centenary year is 2024, but they're celebrating it. They're going to start celebrating 24-25 in the fall. It's called the 100 by 100 Initiative. They were going to about 100 of the top composer graduates and people who are writing out there in the field, in the business. And I'm not sure what the current number is, but a number of us did follow through. And when we discussed the possibility, I said, I did graduate as concert pianist as well as composer. So Nick went to, I think he spoke with Roberto, presumably that's Roberto Diaz, who's the president and CEO of Curtis. And they said, James has 2 degrees, so he can write a half hour. They originally wanted a 5-minute piece. But I thought a little mini suite would be the right thing to do. So mini suite it is. I was just looking, I'm going to get everything right. It's called A Curtis Reflection. And I put the me, as people keep saying, you do you, so I put the me into this. It's for piano solo. The first movement is called 222 for 222 West Rittenhouse Square, my first residence in Philadelphia. So it's an F major with 3 loud bass, G, G, G. So there you get the 222 in the music, but it becomes a motif for all 3 of the movements. The second movement is called Parkway House, and it's lush key of D flat major and basically 5/4. And you can hear bells going off because Big Ben, no matter where I was, I heard Big Ben every day in Philadelphia. So it is that movement that I think probably is the most, hopefully all lyrical, but it's the most accessible. And the last movement is called 1726. That's 1726. And the address of Curtis is 1726 Locust, the main building. So in the diatonic scale,
got it.
boys and girls and ladies and gents, if you think in terms of the diatonic scale and you hit a C, B, D, A, it's 1726, and then quietly, you can build a whole structure on the 1726, and at the very ending, like there were times where I was late for an early morning class, and you could see me skating through Rittenhouse Square. You'll hear glisses and slides. It's in the music. So I put my very personal stamp. We dealt with the death of my sister at a young age, and early on in my stay at Curtis, and Sherry figures into the composition. I gave her her own theme, and then she comes in at the end again. So it's a very personal statement, a 12-minute work called A Curtis Reflection. The video has been sent to Curtis. They are very pleased with it from the reports I've gotten, and they have the exclusive on it. So I am able, by my arrangement with Nick, I'm able to perform this piece, but it will also be on my new recording, Albany Records, that will be out in the summer. But Curtis has the exclusive on the video, and rightly so. They commissioned it, and that's the right thing to do.
That's wonderful. Yeah. That 1726. It kind of reminds me. Oh gosh, who was that modern composer that kept spelling out Bach? What? Dalla Piccolo or
That
something. The B flat, A, C, and B natural. Do 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 do.
well, you know that Bach used that to the B flat, A C B B A C H in German. Bach used his own letters in that. Huh?
Yeah, Bach did it, and I think Della Piccolo did it in quite a bit of his works, like in like
Yeah.
either yeah, in different pitch sequences as well. But like it just kept coming back. I forget what the work was. I never got into it, but I remember a classmate doing some presentation about this. Is like, here's a
Oh,
Bach, here's a
that's
Bach,
wonderful. It's
and
wonderful.
yeah, how many 1726s do you have in in
Um,
year 1726?
Many.
Many, yeah. Do you have 1726 of them? No,
No, no.
not that many. But yeah, you mentioned we're going to be able to hear this again at some point. You're playing this live. Is this on April 10th?
April 10th and also April 28th. April 10th is the Arts on Bergen noontime concert series, which I believe is also going to be streamed. But that program will include music that was composed for me. My very dear friend Henko Isbach wrote a piece called, it's funny, I can see him here, even though he said I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I want to make sure I get this right in Afrikaans. It's called Mistieka Fitkis. Can we say that together? Mistieka Fitkis.
Mistietka Fikis.
Fitkis, which means mystical fairies. So
Nice.
I'll open with that piece. Then I've had a long association with a very good friend, Paul Turok, who's no longer with us, and Mrs. Turok, Sue Turok, is one of my dearest friends. We speak every day. So I'm going to be performing and recording later this month for the Albany recording his piece called Little Suite for piano. And it's just absolutely delightful. I'm going to be tackling, and it's very funny, Rudolf Serkin told me years ago I would probably be past 40 by the time I'd have the maturity to play his music. Well, okay, add 20, 30 years, and then you have the actual numbers here for those who are computing my age. But Beethoven's Waldstein Sonata and the program, both at Arts on Bergen and Klavierhaus, I'm going to read this, is dedicated to Seymour Lipkin, Rudolf Serkin, and Eleanor Sokoloff, my mentors at the Curtis Institute of Music,
Oh, how
because
wonderful.
they all had a very, very important impact on, I hope, on the artist that I've become. At Klavierhaus, I'm going to be playing a piece close to my heart called Kinderscenen, Scenes from Childhood, by Robert Schumann. I first performed it when I was 13 years old. So I'd like to say that was only 20 years ago.
But it was
But
15.
But right. But I have to say it was this year. It's 60 years ago, 61 years ago,
Oh,
and then close with a Curtis reflection. So it's a 45-minute program, and the director Joseph W. Hill, Jr. at Arts on Bergen, just wrote today, and he said he's assumed I've timed everything out, and yes, I have. So when I say 45, 46 minutes, if I don't speak too much in between, that will be the right time. And the series, this is very close to my heart as well. My longtime recording engineer and good friend, Joe Patridge, passed away suddenly, I mean, really suddenly, on December 19th. We were in the middle of recording for this album. So we have several of the works already, as we say, in the can. But he had invited me. He was at the album launch party we had in the house here last June, and invited me to perform on his series that was then called Sunday Nights at Klavierhaus. So Joe is unfortunately passed, but the wonderful is acting artistic advisor, but Jed Disler, famous musician in his own right, and James Wu, top recording engineer, are continuing the series. So they are honoring Joe's invitation, and I will be performing on Sunday, April 28th at 2 p.m. my dear friend and public relations rep will soon be having this up on the socials, as we call it.
We'll be watching out for that. Yeah.
Link to that. So it's free of charge, suggested donation, which helps keep the series going. But Joe's theory is he never wanted to have people turned away. So those who can come, we'll definitely want them to be there.
Oh, wonderful. And
Thank you.
where's the Klavierhaus?
Klavierhaus is I believe
It's in New York.
Yes, New York City. It's 790. I should get the exact address. It'll be the 790 11th Avenue. It's around the corner of 54th Street and 11th. You know where you have the ships. Many ships are there, and not far from it.
Yeah.
That neck of the woods, and right behind it was the Javits Center and the obelisk. So for the Hudson Yard.
Wonderful. And before that, April 10th, that's at St. Peter's University.
St. Peter's.
That's in Jersey, right?
St. Peter's is in Jersey City, New Jersey, 12 noon, and it will run, as I promised, 12 until 12:45. Because I'm one of the professors that when I attend that, I have to get out too because I have a 1 o'clock class.
I thought you were going to say you're going to be late for a lunch date.
No, that day students will be coming to hear my performance, but
that'll be better than any lunch they could eat, I'm sure.
I hope they feel the same way.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, everything that I say is tempered by the commandment that I used years ago, and they now refer to it as Professor Adler's 11th commandment. What is the commandment? Thou shalt be entertaining at it. We can analyze things, but at the end of the day, my object is to make sure they're nourished musically but entertained. That's my goal for the audience.
That's just wonderful. We're gonna have to, we're gonna have to work that into the code of just about anything with the arts.
And I should say thank you, and also talk just a little bit, if I may, about my role with virtual concert halls and Dr. Adler and with you, that we came up with the idea a few years ago to do this, and it was such a good and grand idea that we've expanded it. But Adler Oaks Music Library, my company, my husband and my company, Adler Oaks gives 2 awards a year to the Sound Espressivo. It's called the James Adler Audience Favorite Award. And I do not participate. Thank you for putting that up. I don't vote, folks. I don't want to have a say in who earns the award. That is an online competition, but I'm on the stage of Carnegie Hall. There's a Weill Recital Hall at Carnegie Hall with Dr. Anna, and we discuss it, and I invite the audience to vote to make sure that they participate and that they have a say in the award. And it was so popular that we also created the J&S Silver Medal Award. It's the James Scott Silver Medal. So this way, people who earn, it's up to the judges for these competitions, but for the online award, it's very important that, in my way, Adler Oaks is giving something back.
That's so wonderful. It's very generous of you.
Thank you very much.
And it's just one of the very little things that anybody could do to help just inspire young people trying to just get ahead in the arts. And it's like, oh, there could be a prize, there could be just some great recognition, and you never know what comes of prizes sometimes. I mean, even if there isn't money, or even if there is, I mean, someone might be listening, be like, hey, I know that you won this prize, or I know you were runner-up for this prize. I like you. I want to hire you. And there's so many great things that could come from that. And the recognition itself goes such a long way in the bigger scope of things. This is very generous for you to help, lay this track down. And
it's Scott's and my pleasure to do this. It's a way of giving something back. And what you and Anna are doing is very, very noble.
Well, thank you. We've been loving just putting these events together and just listening to all the glorious music and
amazing young talent of young and young at heart. So let's not just limit it to under 13. You have many categories,
Oh,
and
yes.
very, very
We've
gifted.
had those kids that can sit at the piano and they can't even reach the pedals, and they play like the like like they're in charge of the universe or something, and and jump off the bench. They're 5 years old. We've had it all, and it's just great. Yeah, so we're at Carnegie actually on April 1st and 4th, and April 1st will be a recital, and April 4th will be with the orchestra. I should mention also April 1st we have the Boston String Ensemble. String ensemble of like 20 kids, and they're just wonderful. They're going to start out the program, and we also have the Leonard Quartet from Washington D.C. They're going to be presenting many modern compositions for string quartet. It's going to be really great, and then of course all the selected auditionees that play wonderful, and then we do it again on the 4th with orchestra and with James's piece and
Thank
with
you.
all this wonderful music. I'm just getting too excited that I'm rambling. I tend to do that when I'm excited. So that's less than a month away. Wow. Okay, we got some work to do. um, but James, I have to ask for our viewers out there today. How do you keep up with this lifestyle? I mean, are there any secrets that you have to just managing your life and still keeping up with your writing and your practicing and time to like do the show? Is there any words of wisdom that you'd like to share?
Uh, I don't recommend this, but I give up sleep. It's as simple as that.
Excellent.
Some nights I'm working up until 12:30. Scott isn't thrilled with that, but I'm also, as you know, I'm on the faculty at St. Peter's University, and running a very special class. I've been doing this now for well over 30 years. Uh, about 30, let's see, 38, 30, 36 years. It's either live performance art or live musical art. We alternate every other year so that students can repeat it. And I take them to live events and Broadway shows and dance, and sometimes they get to hear Professor Adler perform. But I always tell them on that day, I will not be your professor, I will be your guest performer. So somebody once wrote, Professor, will you be taking attendance? I said, yes, from the piano. I will sing.
I've done that. Look out in the crowd, back who's not here.
No, it's actually new. Here's the new thing. Remember you had the old sign-up sheets where students had to sign in?
Oh yeah.
Some of my colleagues in the Department of English came up with this. No, we don't do it that way. I asked them to take a selfie in the hall that day, send that, and then submit the report to Blackboard. I use Blackboard for all
Yeah.
the report submissions. So to do it that way, and they said, what about if we get a picture with you afterwards? I said, oh, then you get bonus points.
Nice.
Grab me.
Wow.
So that's the new way.
Yeah, and you get the picture.
And I get
So-
and they get a grade.
that hidden bonus right there is the picture with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, how wonderful. Well, and this has just been great. We have the rest of that composition that we haven't heard yet. We played the first part at the beginning, and we should hear the second part now. So let's hear the master perform a little bit more here.
Thank you so much.
Bravo, James.
Thank you so much.
It's just so great, and it's so exciting, and you play it so well, and there's just so much creativity in there, and
Thank you.
that's yeah, congratulations. I look forward to hearing more of your performances. And
Well,
you said that the Klavierhaus and the St. Peter's University is going to be recorded at least?
Uh, I'm not sure because there are issues involving my commission for Curtis.
Of course. Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to look out for that, but we definitely have your albums on your website that we can purchase.
Much of this repertoire is going to be on my new Albany Records recording, which will be my piano recital. So you will hear the Curtis Commission on the recording. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So we'll have to check out Albany Records and, of course, your website. And your website will have all that there. Oh, there it is, AdlerOaksMusic.com.
Website will have that.
We will be trolling that website, waiting for that album.
Well, thank you. You can also check my management's LG Artist Management.
Oh, wonderful.
The wonderful August Antonov, who I believe you're very familiar with as well.
Oh yes. Yep. He's also a great pianist and has done many great things for our company and our events, and how wonderful. People don't realize so much the music industry, or even just the entertainment industry itself, is a smaller world than you would think. Somebody who always knows someone who knows somebody. Mm-hmm. And we're all connected in this weird way here, and it's a great thing too. Well, why wouldn't it be? I mean, there's so many great people out there. I'd just before we sign off here, I'd just like to mention we are live every afternoon with new programs that portray our many artists like James, some past participants, teachers, and we present new and unique topics in the field of music and education. We're streaming on all platforms here, all the socials, and we can take comments and messages. So just send us a message on one of these. We'll get back to you. We have many, many supporters that help with our productions. There's too many to name there, and they barely fit on the page anymore, which is quite amazing and overwhelming. But all of these organizations and some individuals too have contributed so much to what we do, including private teachers and families that were just work very hard to teach their students and train them for sometimes very little money, or at least work many extra hours without getting paid, and that can't go unrecognized. Speaking of recognition, we have an amazing team behind the scenes here at Virtual Concert Halls, and there's our wonderful village team, and we have Ante in the back end of everything today, flipping the switches and making sure all these visuals show, and he's doing a great job. And Ante will also be playing on April 1st and 4th at Carnegie Hall. He's a fabulous pianist, and he'll be presenting one of his own works as well, so you have to come and see that. And I believe it's a work with countertenor as well, so that's just a rarity that's going to be glorious here. James, I'd like to thank you for being with us today. This has been so great having you, and thank you for all of the support that you've given us on our events all these years, and just your wonderful words of wisdom and sharing your expertise with us. And we look forward to seeing and hearing your works in New York in just a few weeks.
April 4th.
April 4th, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Carnegie Hall. Yeah, will you sign autographs?
If asked.
If asked. So, okay, we'll have the program booklet.
I want to make sure I have it. It's the Weill Recital Hall at Carnegie Hall.
Weill Recital Hall at Carnegie Hall, 7 p.m., April 4th. James Adler will be there. Autographs, photo ops. Your students can come and take a selfie with you. How about that? You never know.
And write an extra credit report. They're always welcome to do that with live concerts.
Wonderful. Okay, so everyone out there now, sign up for James's class, and so that you can get extra credit. I'm going to sign up too. I'll be there, so I'll get a picture with you, James. And, we'll sign up Anna and Giacomo too. It'll be great. Everyone will sign up. Wonderful. Well, we can't wait and it's going to be glorious. And thank you again. We have to sign off for now, so I'll just leave you with ta-ta.
Thank you so much.
I know.
Bye-bye.